Guys, ChaseWins.com coming at you for Saturday, August the 22nd, 2020. Still early on Friday night, but as I told you in Friday's video, I wanted to be able to get some episodes of the scouting report out. So after I get plays and stuff done on Saturday morning, I'm going to focus some time on that, as well as, if weather permitting, I know that we've got about 5 tracks that our horse consultant is looking at for Saturday that start as early as 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go all the way in through the night. Some of them look free and clear of any bad weather. Some of them, it remains to be seen. There is the threat of bad weather. So hopefully, weather permitting, we will have a big day of horse racing on Saturday too, Saturday and Sunday. And then I also have a meeting with Patrick tomorrow regarding what we've got going on in NASCAR for this weekend. So it's going to be a very, very busy, full Saturday morning and afternoon. So I wanted to go ahead and get this video done because I knew that if I relied on myself to do it Saturday morning, more than likely time will get away from me and I just wouldn't be able to get it done. So let's do the recap that we can. Let's get you on a free play because there could be some line movement in this as well. And I want everybody to have the chance to wager it as early as possible. So free play for Friday. Obviously, I was very clear in the instructions and what I liked about the Canadians and the Flyers over 4.5. That was the winner. It cashed and hit 5 goals early in the second period before the halfway mark even hit. So congratulations to everyone there. And then getting into the MLB, first game of the day that we had was the Washington Nationals over the Miami Marlins. And that one was a loser. The Marlins ended up winning 3-2. And I had somebody ask me, they were like, what did you see that went wrong in that game? And I guess that's kind of a tricky question because I don't know that I saw anything go wrong. The Nationals looked a little bit out of place, I guess, but maybe that could have been from the extra rest and time off due to, the way that the schedules have gone and a game getting postponed. So that could have played a part in it. But I got to give hats off to the Marlins. They swung well. That team is very prone to committing defensive errors, which they did not do. So they deserved it. So I don't want to say that I saw anything go wrong. I think I just saw an outright better performance from the Marlins. And guys, in baseball especially, and I mean this goes for all sports, you can be on the right side of a game, of a matchup, of anything, and still not have the outcome that you wanted, expected, needed, whatever, because it's sports. But in baseball especially, it is so prone to happen because an error is something that seems as harmless as an error, a bad fielding error, throwing error. It can change the entire course of a game, even in the early goings of it. So you have to take that with, for what it is. You can't just say, well, I feel like I was on the right side of it, because if you look at any loss I've taken in a Major League Baseball game this year, most of the time I've been on the right side of it. And if you go and look at the write-up or the video or whatever, I said, this is what's going to have to happen for XYZ team to lose. And if they did, that happened. So you take that for what it is. Now, over the past 2 weeks, we've had 13 winning days out of the last 14. We've swept MLB damn near every one of those days. So not only has it just been a winning day overall, when you combine all the sports, for 13 straight days, it's been MLB sweep after sweep after sweep after sweep. I mean, yeah, there was a couple of days in there we might drop one play, but we still turned profit that day. But very few. It's been sweep after sweep after sweep. But again, it's sports. Losing's going to happen in a game, on a day, on a week. It's going to happen. There is no way to avoid it. It's inevitable. And, and I say that as in, sport being because it's sports, but that goes for any industry. It doesn't matter if you're in sports, if you're in real estate, if you sell diapers. It doesn't matter. L's happen. You're going to take losses. There's no way to avoid it. And the good thing about taking losses is learn from them, move on, don't harp on them, and get back at it the next day. One thing that is a blessing in disguise with losing days, from my perspective, is that in this industry, you're going to have more degenerate gamblers than not. So, I could sell 100 packages, and chances are 80 of those people are degenerate gamblers. No matter what they say, they are. And their true colors come out when there's a bad day, always. Because I can tell you, most of my business doesn't come from doing these videos or any sort of social media or any type of marketing. It's word of mouth. Somebody signs up, they go long term, they take it seriously, and they recommend me. That's how my business structure in any business I've ever been in has always been. What I do, my name, and just in this case, my record, and what I do backs it up. But my work speaks for itself, and that brings business. So, but you always have a ton of newbies, and you don't know these people. And I've had a lot of new people here recently, and over the past 13 days, you don't hear anything from them, which is fine. I don't expect anything from you, don't want anything from you, but I guarantee you, after today, I'll be flooded with emails from these people wanting to start running their mouth. And yes, is it stupid? Absolutely. Do they have any reason to do it? Absolutely not. But the reason I say it's a blessing in disguise, and maybe some of you others should think of it like this, is because that allows me to weed those degenerate gamblers out, because that's not what I want. I'm not looking to do business with degenerates. I'm looking to do business with people that take it seriously, want to follow everything that I say, and make a true second income, change their life. That's what I want to do. The degenerates that just want action and expect it to be only wins and no losses, and if there's a loss, they're going to, try to drown you with negativity. The first time it happens, I mark them and say, okay, now I know who this person is. I know, I can see straight through them. So when their subscription ends, I can immediately say, all right, I don't want to do business with this person anymore. They'll meander around the market for a little while. They'll lose their money and get their teeth kicked in by another service. And then they'll come back and, oh, I'm sorry, man, I was just having a bad day. Sorry, we all have bad days. But you can't blame that bad day on someone else, because certainly what happened to all the good days? So I'm just saying that because it looks like today may be a losing day. And I'm not going to sit here and harp on it or apologize for it, because I don't owe anybody an apology. 13 straight winning days, it's bound to happen. And guess what? We've had losing days before, and this ain't going to be the last one. There's going to be more this season. There's going to be more in 2020. There's going to be some in 2021. They're rare. You guys can see that just from, the daily recaps and everything that we put out, just in free plays alone. So it happens. It's bound to happen. But the one good thing is the rare times that we do have a losing day, right after that we bounce right back, strong as can be. So that loss, we make it right back and then some, and then we go on another big run. So if anything, it's nothing more than a buffer to something else good. So it is what it is. It's a losing day, it looks like. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot to go on. The Rangers and the Seattle Mariners are going to be playing tonight. They actually just started, so they were in the top of the first when I started this video. So, that game still got the whole thing to go, so we'll see what happens there. The Nationals took a loss. The Indians, we had them on the run line. They started out great. They were up 3-0, then 5-0, and then a terrible fourth inning. They went down 7-5, just like that. 7 runs in a single inning. And I'll be honest with you, the Indians are still the much better team despite whatever happens tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Indians came back and did something. But right now, they gave up that inning. I think it looks like it just took the wind right out of them. So I would see it be very unlikely for the Indians to come back and win this game at all, let alone by 2. But congrats to everyone that did play the free play. We won a premium play there, but it looks like it's going to be a losing day overall, not only just in Major League Baseball, but overall. And it happens. It won't be the last time. But I can assure you, like always, we'll bounce right back and we'll go on another huge run just like we were just on. 2 straight weeks of winning. And I mean, over 85% in MLB this season. 87%, I think, was what the exact total was going into today. We are 100% completely undefeated in Major League Baseball total plays this year. We are undefeated 100% in Major League Baseball top plays this year. So, I mean, it speaks for itself that losing days happen. Oh, well. Let's get on a free play. And because, again, I do think I could see some line movement in this one. Let's look here real quick at something. 7:05 p.m. Saturday night, the Twins versus the Kansas City Royals. Mr. Handlebars himself, Randy Dobnik versus Brady Singer going up. I love Dobnik. He's been pitching so well. Here's what I like about him. Now, you look at Brady Singer, and he has an ERA of like 4.5 or 4.6, and people look at that number and go, oh, it's steep. But if you look at who he has played to get that number looks worse on him than it really is. That 4.5 or 4.6, what he's sitting at, is actually a lot more respectable than he is getting credit for. Not to mention, he's only pitched 23 innings. He's got 24 strikeouts. He's only given up, 4 home runs or 3 home runs on the year, something like that. So I'll be honest with you. For a below average pitching squad as a whole, he's been one of their, rays of light. I would say that he doesn't get near enough credit for what he is. I respect him. I think he's only going to continue to grow. Now, people look at Dobnik and they say, okay, well, he's only got a 1.42 or 1.43 ERA, which is incredible. Not taking anything away from him, but if you break down into the strikeout ratio, they are someone that has started 5 games, has 5 decisions, has gone 4-1. He only has 14 strikeouts. Think about that. His strikeout ratio is actually very poor, but he makes up for it in the way that he converts his outs. And 9 times out of 10, that is with ground balls, which is beautiful. Because how many times have I said this year that the main problem with Kansas City, if they just had 2 more really good pieces of their batting lineup, this would be a dangerous offensive team because you start out with Whit Merrifield. He gets backed up by a very good batter. And so that top 3 is just above average. But then once you get past that, they're non-existent. They are such a top-heavy lineup that those first 3 batters can come in and hang with anybody and take anybody out of the park. But after that, it's just the same repetitive thing. There's no action, very, very low on-base percentage, very low batting average, very low home run rate. So there's just no power there. There's no consistency there. That's not good when playing the Twins anyway. But when you're going out against someone who is a ground ball machine, against a team who loves to ground them between the third baseman and the shortstop, and a team that's prone to errors like Kansas City on the defensive end, a team that's not prone to errors on the Minnesota Twins end. One of the lowest error rates in all of baseball, the second lowest in all of the American League. It just spells trouble all the way around. And with one thing that I like about Dobnik is anytime he plays a team, and it doesn't matter who it is. And it could be a team, let's say like the White Sox, who is just a very strong and consistent lineup all the way through, sprinkled with just outstanding power hitters in certain places. He can play someone, have a fantastic game, but make a couple of what he would consider mistakes. He figures it out, he scouts it well, and the next time he plays that team or those players, he has fixed it. He's made adjustments and he's fixed it among the best in the game. So his last time out, who did he play? He played the Royals. He pitched 5 2/3 innings or 5 1/3. He only gave up 3 hits. He gave up no runs. That was his 4th win of the season. So you would say, well, what does he have to complain about? What does he have to adjust? Nothing, except for the fact that he was low hanging those curveballs, and that's what was getting them to elevate. Now, they weren't turning into home runs, but that was because Witt wasn't on that day. So the top half of that lineup, that strong side, they didn't have the power behind it, but they were contacting the ball well. That typical golf swing. That's not what you want to throw to the power hitters, and especially the very consistent ones in someone like a Whit Merrifield. So what he's going to do is what he did with the rest of the lineup, which Kansas City is already very prone to ground balls, like I said. He's going to know how to come in. He's probably not going to throw a ton of curveballs, probably a lot of four-seam fastballs, and maybe even a cutter that he likes to bring in sometimes as that fourth pitch in his arsenal. And he's going to start forcing ground balls to the top half of that lineup. And there's only one other way to think about it. If it doesn't convert into a ground ball, it'll be a home run or a strikeout, because I do not see them generating a lot of hits. Unless Dobnik is off for the day and his commander velocity isn't there, then we have ground ball or we have strikeouts. So does he improve on his strikeouts? Does he keep his ground ball up, or is he off for the day? I'm not going to bank on him being off, because even the loss that he's taken this year on his record, it wasn't because he pitched poorly. It was because the bullpen completely fell apart when they took over. The Twins, who are conservative by nature with their bullpen over the past 10 days, have not been. But they also went on that streak against the Royals where they got swept, and I think what they did, they dropped one to the Brewers, I think. But whatever it was, 4 or 5 really poor games, they started being overly aggressive with everything, wanting to calculate every win, because they're realizing, holy shit, the end of next week, we're going to be halfway through this season. We need to get every win that we can get, stop pussyfooting around, get them now, and that way the last portion of the season, we have cushion. We have room for error. So they've gone back to being a little bit more conservative now that they've gotten back in that rhythm. And they've realized that the more aggressive they are with their bullpen by throwing arm after arm in there, which is already a good bullpen, it sets them up to have those 4 or 5 losses in a row, because they're depleted for an entire 3 to 4 game series. Since they did that, you haven't seen them deplete themselves one time. And there should 2 times where you would have thought, based on the way things were going, they would have. So not only is Kansas City a below average bullpen, and Minnesota is well above what they are, Kansas City's not depleted, I would say, but they're coming in right there in the dead center of that bullpen, which is poor. The Twins get to come in on the top side of it coming into this weekend. Now, they'll burn through a couple of arms on Friday night, but based on the changes that they made on Friday before that game, I think it hurts Friday's chances, but it sets them up for really good bullpen situations for Saturday and for Sunday. So I think they were looking long term. Okay, if we have to take the loss on Friday, which I don't know if they will or won't, it sets them up for what could be even easier games, and what should already be wins on Saturday and Sunday, and they take another series. So I just think with the starting pitching not only being obviously heavily favored in the way of the Twins, the bullpen heavily favored in the way of the Twins. Again, statistically best batter in the game right now is still Nelson Cruz. Now you say, oh, Tatis or somebody like that. The grand slams are great, but statistically, the on-base percentage and everything else, Cruz is still the guy, and he's still the best in the American League. Singer's all right, but again, he has that low-hanging fruit, so it would not surprise me in the one of the first 3 to 4 innings to see Nelson, take one out into the parking lot. What I'm getting at is every single thing lines up for the Twins. And if this game was something that we had to play on the run line, would it be a premium? Maybe. I'd probably want to see a little bit deeper into what they were going to do in a closing situation. But right now we can get it at $1.45. I wish we could get it a little bit lower, but I think that's a gift. As when I did the numbers, I think this game should have opened up at minus 165 to 170, with it going, depending on the way money comes in on this game, going as high as 200 and it's still being justified. But I think now you get it at 145 and it gets as high as 175, let's say. All of it's justified. But let's take it while we can get value on it, because 145, that's value, guys. It is. A game that should be well above 150 to start, we're getting it below it. I'll take it all day long. So that is your first premium play of Saturday. The Minnesota Twins minus 145 on the money line over the Kansas City Royals. Mark your pitcher, Dobnik and Singer. If you have the ability to only mark one pitcher and you can leave the other team off, just make sure you mark Dobnik, because I really don't care who Kansas City throws in. I think Singer's a really good pitcher for Minnesota to be going up against right now, but Kansas City doesn't have anybody in the arsenal for the next 2 days to really compete starting pitching wise. And I think that Truth be told, because Odorizzi's still kind of making that comeback, still getting his velocity back from, him having to work his way back into it, still being monitored on his pitches. Right now, the strongest foot forward the Minnesota Twins have in their rotation, in their staff of pitchers, is Randy Dobnik. Despite what the stats will tell you, it's a fact. And he's going out there and proving it with his numbers. So let's take the Minnesota Twins. We'll take them on the money line, minus 145. I'll have some more information for you on the scouting report episodes that we'll do for Saturday and Sunday. And then obviously more plays to come for all the members. So again, more than likely a losing day for Friday. It is what it is. I'm sure I'll get a ton of hate mail. And they'll regret it pretty quickly after they do, but it is what it is. It shows who's serious and who's a degenerate. So congratulations to the huge run, everybody. It had to end sometime, but we'll get right back on another one. I love you guys. I'm still the MLB king for a reason, and we'll go out there and prove it once again as we always do. See you guys, and I'll be back for another free play on Sunday.